There is a quiet truth most people never fully accept. Your feelings are real, but they are not reliable. Some days you will feel strong, driven, confident, and focused. Other days, for no clear reason at all, that energy will be gone. Your body will feel heavy. Your mind will look for comfort. Your motivation will disappear without warning. If your progress depends on how you feel, then your growth will always be unstable. This is where most people lose momentum, not because they are incapable, but because they confuse emotion with identity. They assume that if they don't feel ready, they aren't ready. If they don't feel motivated, they shouldn't move. If they don't feel strong, they must be weak. But strength has never been about feeling good. Strength is about standards. Standards are what remain when emotions change. Standards are the decisions you made on clear days that guide you on difficult ones. Standards don't argue. They don't negotiate. They don't wait for permission from your mood. They simply ask one question: what does this moment require of me? When you live by standards, you don't wake up asking whether you feel like doing the work. You wake up knowing who you are and what you've committed to. The work is no longer personal. It's principled. This is the difference between people who start strong and people who last. Lasting success is not built on intensity. It is built on consistency. And consistency is born from structure. Structure is not restriction. Structure is freedom. Without structure, every day becomes a debate. Should I train today? Should I push harder? Should I rest? Should I quit? The mind becomes noisy. Energy is wasted on decision-making instead of execution. Structure removes the debate. You already decided. You decided who you want to be. You decided what effort looks like. You decided what your standards are. Pressure is not the enemy. Unprepared minds are. Pressure only reveals what you've built beneath the surface. When your foundation is strong, pressure sharpens you. When your foundation is weak, pressure exposes you. Most people fear pressure because they've tied their identity to outcomes. They believe that if they fall short, they are diminished. If they struggle, they are failing. If they are criticized, they must be wrong. But growth does not require comfort. It requires clarity. Clarity about who you are, what you stand for, and what kind of effort you are willing to give, regardless of noise. Criticism will come, not because you are doing something wrong, but because you are visible, because you are improving, because you are daring to take your own path. The louder the pursuit, the louder the opinions. If you live by feelings, criticism will break your focus. It will pull you into reaction. It will make you second-guess your standards. But if you live by principles, criticism becomes background noise. You listen only for what helps you improve, and you let the rest pass. Mental resilience is not the absence of doubt. It is the ability to continue despite it. Doubt will visit you on hard days. It will arrive quietly, often disguised as logic. It will ask questions like, is this worth it? Shouldn't this be easier by now? Why am I still struggling? Those questions are not dangerous on their own. What matters is how you respond to them. If you respond emotionally, doubt gains control. If you respond with standards, doubt loses its power. Standards remind you that progress is not always visible, that mastery takes repetition, that growth often feels slow from the inside. Pressure tries to rush you. Standards allow you to breathe. There is freedom in knowing that your responsibility is not perfection. Your responsibility is effort, honest effort, disciplined effort, repeatable effort. When expectations rise, many people tighten. They try to force results. They push harder without patience. They mistake tension for commitment. But real commitment is calm. Calm does not mean passive. Calm means focused. It means trusting your preparation, trusting your routine, trusting the standards you've built over time. The more pressure increases, the more important routine becomes. Routine grounds you when emotions fluctuate. It gives your mind something stable to return to. On days when your confidence dips, your routine carries you. On days when fear appears, your routine steadies you. On days when criticism distracts you, your routine refocuses you. Routine is not repetitive in a negative sense. It is refining. It removes chaos from your inner world. It creates a predictable structure where improvement can happen quietly. Mental resilience is built when you stop reacting and start responding. Reaction is emotional. Response is intentional. Reaction looks for escape. Response looks for growth. Every challenge you face asks you to choose between these two paths. When something goes wrong, do you spiral or do you stabilize? When you fall short, do you panic or do you correct? When pressure builds, do you rush or do you return to fundamentals? This is the work no one sees, and it matters more than any moment of recognition. Quiet strength is forged when you remain composed under stress, when you do not let frustration dictate your behavior, when you maintain dignity even when things are unfair. Dignity is not about image, it is about self-command. Self-command is the ability to govern your thoughts, your effort, and your response, especially when conditions are difficult. It is choosing patience when impatience would feel justified. It is choosing discipline when excuses would feel reasonable. Many people believe motivation is what pushes great performance. In truth, motivation is unreliable under pressure. What carries you through is discipline combined with trust in your process. Trust grows from repetition. from showing up again and again, from keeping promises to yourself even when it would be easier to break them. Every time you follow your standards instead of your feelings, you strengthen that trust, and with trust comes calm. Calm allows you to see clearly. Calm allows you to adjust instead of react. Calm allows you to endure criticism without becoming defensive. Defensiveness wastes energy. Growth requires openness. This does not mean accepting every opinion. It means staying grounded enough to learn without losing direction. It means knowing the difference between feedback and distraction. Pressure will test your patience more than your talent. It will ask whether you can stay focused without immediate reward, whether you can keep refining your skills while others chase shortcuts. Shortcuts promise speed. Standards promise longevity. Longevity is built through humility, through understanding that there is always more to learn, that improvement never truly ends, that mastery is a direction, not a destination. Mental resilience deepens when you stop demanding that things be easy and start accepting that difficulty is part of the work. Difficulty does not mean you are failing. Difficulty means you are growing. The stronger your inner life becomes, the less external noise controls you. Praise does not inflate you. Criticism does not crush you. You remain centered because your identity is anchored in effort, not approval. This is how pressure transforms from threat to training. Training for patience, training for focus, training for self-leadership. And self-leadership is what allows you to carry success without losing yourself. As you continue, you will notice that pressure no longer feels overwhelming. It feels familiar, manageable, even useful, because you've built the inner discipline to meet it. And that discipline is not loud. It does not seek attention. It simply holds the line. And when feelings rise or fall, you don't follow them. You return to structure. Training when you don't feel like it is not an act of force. It is an act of self-respect. It says, I take my commitment seriously, even when my emotions fluctuate. Self-respect grows when your actions align with your values. Every time you show up when it would be easier not to, you strengthen trust with yourself, and trust is the foundation of confidence. Confidence is not loud. It is calm. It is grounded. It comes from knowing you will not abandon yourself when things get hard. Hard days are not accidents. They are part of the process. They are the moments that test whether your identity is built on comfort or character. Anyone can perform when conditions are perfect. Discipline is revealed when conditions are ordinary, uncomfortable, or unrewarding. This is where growth happens. Growth driven by values lasts longer than growth driven by emotion. Emotion is temporary. Values are stable. When your effort is rooted in values, you don't need constant encouragement. You don't need hype. You don't need validation. You already know why you're doing the work, and that clarity brings dignity. Dignity is how you carry yourself when no one is watching. It's how you respond to setbacks without dramatizing them. It's choosing patience over panic, excellence over attention. Quiet strength does not seek recognition. It seeks mastery. There will be days when your body feels tired and your mind feels uncooperative. Days when comparison whispers that others are ahead of you. Days when progress feels slow enough to question whether it's happening at all. Those are not signals to stop. They are signals to return to your standards. Standards say, I do the work because it reflects who I am, not because it feels good today. This mindset changes everything. Pressure loses its power. Fear becomes manageable. Motivation becomes optional. Purpose takes over. Purpose does not rush you. Purpose steadies you. It reminds you that meaningful growth takes time. That repetition is not boring. It's refining. That discipline is not punishment. It's preparation. You don't overcome hard challenges by overpowering them emotionally. You overcome them by staying composed, structured, and patient long enough to grow through them. This is leadership of the inner life. Leadership does not begin with others. It begins with how you govern yourself when excuses feel convincing, when comfort is tempting, when discipline would be easier to postpone. Every time you choose standards over feelings, you become stronger, not just in what you do, but in who you are, and that strength compounds, slowly, quietly, reliably. One disciplined day becomes a disciplined week. A disciplined week becomes a disciplined year. And before you realize it, the person you once admired from a distance is the person you've become through consistency, not because you always felt motivated, but because you stayed faithful to your standards. And that is how real success is built.